me when. Yes, I guess.
They got any lines tied to that damn boat. Getting close. Yeah, I think it did.
Oh yeah, there's a crack.
Yeah.
You better get it over here to the boat on so it don't block the area.
Yeah, there's a fracture in the hull right there.
Yeah, but he can heel it over. He can tie it over, bring it around, tie it over.
Is it coming in?
What they did aside. They won't leave.
Bill, what's up? We okay?
Swing the asset, swing the front end.
Yeah, okay, Bill? We can heel it over.
They all get their feet going.
If it is, it ain't too bad.
All right, throw him that bow line.
Is it leaking?
It's leaking a little, I think, maybe, but I can't tell because it could have just been water washing around.
Splashed in.
Probably just water is splashing.
I have one in my truck.
All right,
We pull this.
Now you gotta put all the weight this side.
I'm going to take it, put the weight where you can have it on this side. Okay, good. Take this line here. Yeah. Who's got it?
On Monday, August 29th, 2005, our lives on the Mississippi Gulf Coast were changed forever by a record-setting hurricane called Hurricane Katrina. As far as the mass media coverage, the media has tended to focus more on covering the disaster in New Orleans and in Harrison County, mainly Gulfport and Biloxi, and even in Jackson County, while not necessarily ignoring the residents and people that live in Hancock County and work here. Not necessarily ignoring them, but just not really giving them the attention that they deserve. Today is Sunday, the 6th of November, and it's been over 2 months since this storm you see here in a satellite photo, 3D rendered image, that was taken as Katrina was approaching Louisiana to make landfall. It's been 2 months since this area has been completely devastated. What you're looking at there is my house at 821 Larkspur Lane, Bay St. Louis, Hancock County, Mississippi. 2 months later, FEMA has just come by yesterday and seen my property after filing over a month and a half ago. I'm still waiting on my flood insurance and homeowners insurance and wind insurance to determine whether they are going to pay for the property. And a lot of us here in Hancock County are forced to sit and play the waiting game. The purpose of this amateur documentary is to focus on the devastation that was so limitedly reported upon by the mass media and the local ABC television station that's out of Biloxi, Mississippi. Now they had a Hancock County reporter in his Hancock County Bureau that stayed with us at the Hancock County Emergency Operations Center as Katrina made landfall and changed history of the Mississippi Gulf Coast forever. A lot of that footage that Mr. Showers shot for WLOX had never made it onto the news, and very little information was given about Hancock County. Now this video is way late in the making, but I've had a lot of personal issues I've had to go through to get to the stage where I can make this video. But most of Hancock County, south of I-10, looks like this, or in cases even worse than this. And today what I'm going to try to do is take you on a video tour of part of the county that is not necessarily the hardest hit, because you can see that on NOAA's website. They have a link that shows the satellite pictures of the coastal areas, and there's just slabs. There's nothing really to see as far as the destruction. Now, I don't know if you could tell, but down here on the ground there's a layer of mud about 4 inches thick that when a surge came in it deposited. And there's all kinds of bacteria and stuff that I have no knowledge of that are in there, and a lot of people don't have any knowledge of that what's in here. To my knowledge, so far no testing's been done to tell you exactly what's in the mud, but chances are it's probably bacteria, microorganisms, stuff like that that's not good for you. The grass is starting to grow back. I'll pan the camera over so you can see, but the grass is starting to grow back, and the storm is beneficial because it takes away the old and brings in new things to the community. And it's sad that people lose their lives and people are displaced, and this economy in this county may not recover for 3 to 5 years back to the state that it was because of the large amount of damage. We need help here in Hancock County, more so than New Orleans, Gulfport, Biloxi, because they still have a lot of their infrastructure and a lot of more commercialized facilities as far as shopping is concerned. Mostly Hancock County, Bay St. Louis, Waveland, they're small towns. Good people live here, and they want to rebuild, but there's not really anything spurring economic growth here. I can look around and I can see all of the pine trees are turning brown, and some of these pine trees are 15, 20, some maybe even 30 years old here, and they're basically dead and useless. They're going to start falling down. And this area here where I live is in Zone A. Or should I say where I used to live. With a strong east wind, it floods. Now, people throughout the country may say, well, hey, this place floods, why do people live here? Well, it's because this is home. And it's not every day a storm like Camille or Katrina affect our lives. But Camille happened, Katrina happened, and one day, probably not into the near future, we're going to have another Camille, another Katrina. Maybe not devastate this area, but devastate another area of the country that may have a higher population density. Now, there's no concrete reports on a number of dead and missing people, but I know from my own experience doing search and rescue in the days after the storm, a lot of people stayed when they should have left. And they can blame who they want. They can blame the government. They can blame the state and local people. And they can blame themselves for staying, or blame themselves for not having enough money to evacuate. We stay here during the storm to assist with rescue efforts and search and recovery after the storm, but there's nothing we can do for anyone during the storm. So let's wrap up the commentary, and we're gonna take a walk around just this little area in the Garden Island subdivision, which is still in Hancock County. Bay St. Louis is attempting to annex this area, and given the results of Hurricane Katrina, they probably will get it without very much of a fight now. But I'm just going to take you on a video tour of this little small community of mostly retired people that I called home. As I move the camera around, you can see up into the pine trees where the leaves have turned brown and the trees are all dead. In the year or two to come, these trees are going to rot and start falling down, and they do need to be removed and new trees planted on these lots. These are all lots that are available for sale. Now you can look at the debris as I pan the camera around. Now I don't know where the pontoon boat came from, but that is where it ended up. People really need to think, and long-term planning does need to be addressed on the methods of constructing houses. Basically, this house was sitting on concrete cinder blocks with the framing of the house just resting on top, not really strongly attached. It would have survived a windstorm, maybe a category 3 with about 130 mile-an-hour winds, but nothing can survive the impacts of surge and waves. Now, over here at this piece of property, it survived Hurricane Camille in 1969, but they never had the wave action like they did in Katrina. A lot of these houses had water almost completely over their roofs. And this is just one vantage point. A lot of the county looks exactly the same way, or worse, below I-10 than this does. And this is where the population density in Hancock County is the highest, down here on the coast. You know, a lot of this video really doesn't do the damage that you see here. You know, it doesn't do it justice. It really doesn't. And people need to know that the majority of everything south of I-10 looks like this. Now this is Zone A, this is a low floodplain. Like I said earlier, when we get a strong east wind at 20 miles per hour, some of these roads go underwater, and there may be about 6 inches to a foot of water in the yard right here. Now, the old building codes required us to build up approximately 15 feet above sea level, which mainly my lot's about 3 foot above, and they built it up another 13 feet, so it gives you 16 feet. That's all good and well, but as I pan over here and look at this house here, that's a refrigerator sitting on a roof of a 2-story house. That refrigerator is over 20 foot high, which tells me and tells everybody that there had to be water completely over that roof to deposit that refrigerator where it did. The wind did not put that there, water did. Now the insurance companies can say, oh, this is all caused by flood, or this is all caused by wind, or they can argue back and forth. But the fact of the matter is, this damage was done by the wind and by the water. You could look over at the roof of my house. There's roof tiles missing. Not very many, but a paper roof seems to hold its roof structure better in a windstorm than some of your other conventional roofs like terracotta and shingle and slate roofs. And wind damage did happen, people's windows did get blown out, and wind-driven rain did come in. The flood just come in and finished it off. I really hate to focus too much on my own area, but there really is the same scene everywhere south of I-10 in Hancock County. If your elevation was not above 30 feet, you had water. You had water, and some places even had higher, upwards of 40 feet around I-10 and Diamond Head, where the water finally sloshed all the way up. Now that looks like someone's kitchen floor there with ceramic tile that just floated right over there and hit the trees, and that's where it stopped. And you can't really tell by looking at the tree, but I'll see if I could zoom in on it. You see that mark right there, the scrape marks that go down the tree? There's some more there, which are not as fresh as they used to be. But that's where that section of floor was floating and come to a rest on the tree. There's boats that moved all around. That boat there was at the end of this bayou. Now that's not how it ended up. It ended up in the road over there, but when they come in and cleaned all of the roads off, they had to clear the roads, so they just bulldozed the boat out of the way. The mast and everything broke on it when they pushed it over, and a lot of damage was done to the boat that the storm didn't do. But then again, what can you do? You have to open roads to get in here and get stuff started to clean up. You just can't leave the roads blocked. So it's kind of a damn if you do, damn if you don't situation. I'm going to try to make several parts of this video and do some rough editing. But really, I'm going to try to include as much of it as I can in the finished version of it, because I believe that this is real. It doesn't need to be edited or made fancy by putting fancy captions or scrolling anything. This is real life. These are real life issues that we are forced to deal with. And there's talk about them closing down distribution centers and things like that, which yes, you have to get the economy back going and put people back to work, because if businesses aren't open, people don't have jobs. If people don't have jobs, people can't buy food, buy shopping goods, and it's a trickle-down effect with the business, where if a business isn't open, nobody's working. If nobody's working, a business can't be open. And we have a golden opportunity here in Hancock County to rebuild, attract businesses to come in, and make this a better community. They want to keep it small. It's a retirement city, a retirement county. They want to keep it small, and that's a good thing. But the recovery effort needs help. Lots of help. We have volunteers coming down, volunteering their time for cleanup. And it is going to be years, 3 to 5 years, maybe even 10 years down the road, there's going to be a house somewhere in Hancock County that was destroyed and laid level by Hurricane Katrina that has not been removed or has not been improved on and hasn't been touched. It's just a fact of life. People pick up, they got kicked when they're down, they pick up and leave. And they don't come back. They move on, move to another state, have a new life over there, and forget the life that they had here. Hopefully people will come to Hancock County, enjoy its people, enjoy its friendly small town atmosphere, and want to build here and help get our local economy booming again. it's going to be a long rebuilding process. So I'll just end it there and move on to something else. Today is Wednesday, November 9th, 2005, and we're riding down Lakeshore Boulevard, heading towards the Mississippi Sound. You still see there's houses and sheds and buildings still on the side of the road. It's a lot cleared out than it was a few months ago when Katrina came through there. There's houses and everything in the middle of the roads. But we're going to take a little video tour of the Lakeshore community that's been completely devastated. Now this right here used to be a Catholic church, and you can see it's completely gutted. There's also several caskets that went missing that we located on day 4 after the storm. Seems like it's a pretty popular spot for people to come take pictures. Previously we looked at the Garden Island community, the area around the house where I used to live, just in that generalized area. Today we're going to spread out and view a little bit more of the harder and hardest hit areas in Hancock County. Now we're south of I-10. We're south of I-10, and we're also south of Highway 90. It seems Red Cross has a donation facility set up here also. And this is Lakeshore Baptist, where Lakeshore Baptist Church was. It's not there anymore. But we will press on. Looks like they're rebuilding something further over there. And we're coming across the railroad tracks that they're rebuilding. These railroad tracks, sections of the tracks here were completely washed out. And they're just now starting to get them back in. You can see the turning signal laying on the ground there, the railroad signal. And up here, all of these power lines were in the middle of the road, along with several trees that we had to crawl over when we come out here on day 3 with the Army National Guard. There's countless debris spread all out through the woods here, and there's not a structure left standing south of the tracks. You can see part of the road's been washed away. Trees snapped completely over, laying down, and we're still almost a mile off the beach. It looks like we got a little fog out here by the coast. You can see all of the debris. Trees snapped over. Pretty much majority of this stuff out here is leveled from the wave action rolling on in. There's a truck out there that you can barely see. And we're going to press on and take a ride up to the beach to Bay St. Louis, or attempt to go to Bay St. Louis on the beach. You saw as I just panned over there quickly, there's some religious things there. This is a house that's gone. Telephone boxes are completely destroyed. Places where houses once stood and trailer frames are. You can see that they have FEMA trailers right out here on the beach. Alright, it's kind of foggy, but we're gonna attempt to take a trip up Beach Boulevard here. You can see they put water lines and fire hydrants in down here. That's probably a good thing that came of it. Oh, dense fog coming in. Not good. There's some debris from the fishing pier that was out here. Alright, well, since the fog's rolled in, I'm just going to shut her down and move somewhere where there's no fog. Now here's a little something you don't see every day. This is what's left of a U-Haul van that washed up on the beach. You can see it's missing tires and a bunch of other stuff, just kind of washed up and wound its way right here on the beach. And we're, about 3 miles from Lakeshore at this point. And there's numerous debris scattered all out of the beach. Just talked to some Virginia State Police that were taking pictures of the area too. You can see up there what's left of a house slab. It's really foggy out here. Not going to be able to get too much video, but we're gonna press on towards Bay St. Louis and Waveland. And heard a rumor that Waffle House is open in Waveland, so I'm gonna go try to get me some lunch there. Here's another house on the way, and this is 426 Lakeshore, and it's leveled. You look back there and see where another house used to stand, and where the debris had washed up and cut down trees and things of that sort. Alright, we're in Waveland now, and we're just going to drive along and do a slow pan of the... Today is day 75, November 12th, 2005, and we're at the Hancock County Emergency Operations Center. That was moved up off of Kildaleo Road, and we're looking at the back side of it. They have several FEMA trailers set up. And let's take a walk inside. Alright, today's still day 75, November the 12th. And we're here over here where Casino Magic was. Casino barge is still there, obviously it didn't float off. But today we're experimenting. I'm gonna take a ride down Beach Boulevard with my tripod rigged in the back of my truck because I'm doing this all by myself, and hopefully this will turn out okay. So let's take a look at it and see what all we got going on.
That's all right.
It's got a squat right there, and let me get that.
You just leave that thing right there with that in the background. That's mainly. That's just unbelievable.
Well, I'll see. You know what? I'm just trying to.
I can